We have some new merch in the merch store, but before I tell you about the new berry tees and them hoodies and berries and cream, we have a sale. Sale! We are absolutely selling our summer stuff. It's getting cold, but you know good and well you like to get all snug as a bug in a rug at bedtime. Maybe grab you a tank top. Maybe grab you a nice tea, I hiccuped. You go over there right now. Everything is 25% off on our summer gear. Grab you some swag and support me because you keep the lights on. Yeah, you do. You really do help me. I am absolutely grateful for you. You are my label, and your support is unmatched, unparalleled. It means so very much. Head on over to nathanmorris.store. Link is in the description, and grab you some of that. That is the official store for all things third party. Me, Nathan Morris, not third party, because that would mean that's not my store, but you get the idea. And of course, all the new swag is there, like the berry hoodie. I always talk about berries and cream. Well, you can get you a nice little hoodie, stay warm. I should sell Snuggies, but I'm not going to because I don't want to get sued. Going over to nathanmorris.store. Yeah, take advantage of some of those discounts right now. Thank you for your support. It is episode 207 of The Mortals, the show which pulls back the curtain, takes down walls brick by brick, and exposes the hearts, the true hearts of those caring for those you love most. And I know I've talked about the merch and the sale, but you gotta become a mortal, not immortal. That's the point. We are not immortal. We're not promised tomorrow. We have a finite amount of time. What are you gonna do with it? I believe in community. Billie Eilish has the eyelashes. Taylor Swift has the Swifties. I and you, we have the Mortals, a community where I give exclusive access, first looks, first listens, exclusive music drops, behind the scenes content, and weekly giveaways each and every week, giving away merch. Speaking of, click the link right now in the description because I want you to join the Mortals. We have different tiers. Of course, the tier you select determines what access and level of you get, but help me continue to build something incredible because after the music's out, after the podcast's released, what do we have if we don't have community to have interaction? It's a great place where I am able to share some really awesome behind-the-scenes stuff, and you are able to really connect with me and I with you in a very profound way, not seen on any other platforms. And speaking to also, there's additional discount codes available only to Mortals on top of, the sales that we have. This is exclusive for the Mortals. Join right now, become a Mortal, and then say hello, everyone, when you join. Because we can text and stuff, and that'd be great. Okay, on with the beautiful bean footage. I was distracted. A Minute More is out. Yes, it is. Thank you so much for everybody who has helped make this such a successful release so far. You can stream it wherever you stream music. A Minute More, it's that very disgustingly romantic because I'm optimistic. I believe in my heart of hearts that you are worthy to be loved and you deserve that. And I think that we accept the love that we feel we deserve a lot of times. And I feel if you are able to, hopefully one day, maybe you're there, maybe you're not. I wasn't for a very long time. When you are able to see just how incredible you are, then I think that you will expand you'll expand what you expect, meaning you won't settle is the easy way to put it. And A Minute More is this idea that romance is not dead. And whether you live a single life where it's you and you are navigating these waters, I tip my hat to you because you're a brave ass dude or dudette. And if you're a couple, then you too have to navigate in the challenges of being a team. And A Minute More is this realization that they, together, you all deserve the best and the most, and you won't settle. And I want you to know it's available wherever you stream your music. Please give it a listen and a stream because you you really do support me by doing that, and you do keep the lights on, jokes aside. So grateful for that and grateful for you. Thanks for tuning in to the live stream. I don't know why I had this idea the other day. It was absolutely on a whim. I was walking through the garage, taking the trash out, and then I always leaf blow the garage floor. I don't want any leaves in there, guys. Goodness gracious. And I saw my rack of equipment it has my wireless mic, my in-ear pack, and it's what I take to shows, really. And I was like, I'm gonna rehearse. No, I'm gonna live stream. Yeah, I'm just gonna live stream the show. I'm gonna rehearse, but I'm gonna stream it, and I'm gonna put it on all the platforms. And I hope I don't fuck it up. Fuck it up. So I texted Karina and Carrie, and I was like, hey, should I live stream before the release? They're like, yeah, that's a great idea. And I'm like, oh shit. It's one of those things where you say you're going to do it, and then it gets out there, and then you can't renege on it because you already said that you were going to do it. Have you ever done that where you say, I'm going to do a backflip in the sand over here in Florida on spring break in Panama, and 300 people are watching you and you're scared, and so you do. Anyway, I couldn't back out, and it was one of the most, not unplanned, because obviously it was planned, but it was a fly by the seat of your pants. Set up all the shit, like everything. I carried in that, by the way, that road case I was talking about in the garage that I got the idea from. I lifted it up 3 steps, which I think I I didn't get a hemorrhoid, but blow my ass out from lifting it. It's very wet, very heavy. And then I brought up the camera, and then I brought up all the tripod and the lights and mics and computer, and the room looked like an amateur tornado chaser, like storm chaser who works out of his garage. I mean, you got to start somewhere, but it looked like a disaster. I went live and streamed it for everybody, for you. You maybe have seen it. If you did, let me know. Let me know you saw it, and I hope you enjoyed it. It was actually really fun because it was so it wasn't overthought. I think it really resonated, and I think it showed the chops. You know, it's fun to share that. It's fun I literally welcomed you into my home. I mean, it was like, hey, here's my house. Here's the family room. There's the dog bed. And, you know, I put the tripod on top of the table. It was really fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about it. It might be something I'd do again. And of course, I'm going on tour in Germany in February 2025. Dates are right now, they're posted. So let me know if you're going to be able to make it. Maybe you're listening from Germany. I don't know why my voice did that. I've been having a lot of people reach out. I'm excited to open up for and support Wiz the MC. Grateful for the invitation. I've already been reached out to by quite a few people who are saying they're coming, they have their tickets, and they're new fans. And they said they can't wait to see me and meet. And I can't wait to meet them. And hopefully I'll be in the US of A very, very soon as well. That is your update on everything. Not really. There's a lot that's been really happening in the last, week. I think that the Mortals is really an exciting thing that's growing, and it's really cool to have you in on the ground floor and be able to share my heart. And I have to watch myself because I really want to just, sounds really weird, give you all of what's going on in all things life. And I am an open book. I do filter myself for the general public, but I feel that the Mortals is this place and space where I'm able to really let my hair down. And the book that I talk about writing in all the time, I feel like I verbalize a lot of that stuff that I write for you all, the mortals. And if you're not a mortal, you should consider joining because I air all my own personal dirty laundry. And I would love for you to join. So jokes aside, to those of you who are mortals and you all listen to and support and take that information and love on me through it. And it's a give and take too. The comments that I receive from you all and that you all are seeing from each other, and you all build each other up, and you don't judge and you don't ridicule, and you encourage. It's really appreciated. I appreciate that, but I appreciate you all being gentle with what I give too. I just want you to know that. It's time, of course, it's time for some random facts brought to you by Descript. It's actually brought to you by Descript because I just say it is. Descript, are you considering starting a podcast? If you are not, you should. If you are a business, or if you are a service, or if you are a brand, if you have a value offering of any kind, podcasts are super important to have, because not to mention the podcast itself, where we're able to connect with each other, right? And you feel like you're a part of. I mean, you all like this podcast, so why wouldn't you like another? But it gives you content that you're able to use for a very long time. Long form content turned into short. Descript, it basically takes all of the need to know how to do stuff out from editing. It's easy. It's transcription based editing. Or let's say you have to read a script because you don't know how to talk good. I don't read good. Well, if you don't know how to talk good, then you can just read. Like if I'm looking over here, I'm not going to turn it on, but you have an eye contact feature where it literally AIs your eyes to stare at the camera and not the teleprompter. It's magic. You also have green screen. It is October, spooky. But you have all these different features and options that make your podcast great, like the studio sound for editing audio clarity. You don't have to have the best equipment, is my point. You really don't. You have to point, shoot. You have no excuse. You should start a podcast. It's easy. It's never been easier with Descript. If you click the link right now in the description, you can get signed up, and you tell Descript that I and Nathan Morris at The Mortal sent you. That link will tell them that. Start your podcast now. You don't have to be a tech whiz, because they take all of the heavy lifting out of that and make you look and sound great. Descript right now is where you need to go. That is who is sponsoring this 3 Random Facts moment. Yawning is contagious. You did know that. If you see someone yawn, you're more likely to yawn yourself. Even reading or thinking about yawning can trigger it. Scientists believe it's a social bonding mechanism. I absolutely feel the need to yawn, and I'm fighting it with all my might. Did you yawn? Did you yawn? Are you yawning? You blink about 15 to 20 times per minute. Blinking, it helps keep your eyes moist and clear of debris. Over the course of a day, this adds up to about 10% of your waking hours spent blinking. So you're basically wasting time. No, you're not wasting time. And last but not least, the Sunday scaries are real. I absolutely know this. Many people feel anxious or stressed on Sunday evenings, anticipating the upcoming work or school week. Studies show that this anxiety peaks around 4 p.m. and is common across all different age groups. That is your 3 random facts on this podcast, the Mortals Podcast, brought to you by Descript. That is very interesting about the Sunday scaries, because people would tell me, like, I get so nervous. I sound like I'm mocking. I don't like that. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I really am. I have had such an incredible response to the Death of a Friend episode. You think that you're the only person? How many times are we going to think that in life? Because my brother John has told me, hey, if you think it, it's happened. Or if you think it, it's, for instance, just the most random of things. I said one time something like, do you think that there's a dude that gets turned on to looking at guitar cases. And yeah, if you can think it, it's real. Anyway, the death of a friend episode was very much received very well, because I know that some of you too have or currently are navigating those waters, and there's no rhyme or reason for it. Meaning, you don't know what you did or didn't do. You know what? You just haven't a clue. And I think that it's best to just realize that sometimes you're just not going to get closure. There's just not going to be that. And when we as people, because we want to know why. Everything has to have an answer. Even if the answer is wrong, we want this answer. It's why you all came in the first place and found me. But you came for the funerals and stayed for the music, maybe because during the peak of the pandemic, you all wanted to know why, how, what with the funeral service. And I think it resonated and kept popping on your For You pages. And it just is who we are. And when we don't have the answers, we obsess over finding them. And there's peace of mind in not expecting to have one. So if you're navigating the waters of losing a friendship and not having that answer, realizing that it's okay to not have the answer and not continuously try to figure that out, there might be some freedom there. But I want to thank you for all of you reaching out and sharing your personal stories. If you have not checked out that episode, of course, you can catch up right after this episode and listen to that one. And I have so much gratitude for you all meeting me on all the socials. And I don't know what's going to happen with TikTok, with the new administration, if whoever that may be, and they're saying they're going to ban it. Are they going to ban it? Are they not going to ban it? And I think about numbers, of course, because that seems to be the only thing we seem to measure success. It's stupid, but I would love for all of you who find me here to follow me on all the socials, especially YouTube, Nathan Morris Music, and Nathan Morris on Insta, Nathan Morris Music on TikTok. I just need to not be so concerned and listen to the old Nathan's old advice and stop trying to figure it out and just continue to show up, because that's all we can do. That is literally all we can do. I have been learning and navigating this realization that I can be as safe, I can be as calculated, I can be as prepared as I possibly can be with content I put out, with the words I say, and it's still going to ruffle. And I need to continuously be mindful of being okay with that. To whom much is given, much is expected, and opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Some are cleaner than the others. You like that? I feel like I made that up, but well, the dirty part I did, not the asshole thing. But I need to be mindful. For me, it's okay to just not have an opinion, but also be okay with people wanting to share theirs with me. It's funny because you post a video on something very serious, and then someone's like, "Oh, you're not gonna give it any power." It's laughable. It's called tact. I don't know. There are people that just don't have it, and that's, I guess, okay. You'd be talking about something, and that was my stomach if the mic picked that up and went, well, you'd be talking about something very important. I have a cousin who, I'll never forget this. They walked up to me and they go, "Ooh, what's on your neck?" It was a huge zit. I get zits on my neck. I can't help it. But speaking of, if you have any remedies for that, like especially on my hairline, because I'm it's called my neck beard. I don't know, I'm a grown ass man with. Anyway, comes up and just says, "What's that in your neck?" "What's a fucking zit, dude?" "It's a red zit." It's called tact. You just don't do it. It's fine. It's not like I want it there. But that's what people do in the videos, in the comments. I think we want, in some weird way, validation and acknowledgement. I don't know. I'm not sure what your thoughts are there, but do you know anybody that has zero tact? Zero? Because it's funny. Do you all get easily offended I don't. I don't get easily offended. I find myself being very gracious, offering tons of grace when people are just, when I say when people are stupid, I'm not, how do I word this? I don't mean it as if I'm better than, but when people are actually very noticeably stupid, being stupid, not as a whole stupid. I don't think I'm articulating that properly. Maybe I am just being a big judgy judgerson and I shouldn't be, but I need to be mindful of that. My point is I do offer, and I don't really have much problem offering a lot of grace to people. People are, I mean, I do stupid stuff too, like the whole Emmett Smith thing. Did I tell you all that story? I met a guy who has a suite at Churchill Downs and talking about, I think I already told you this, but talking about all the famous people that they have in their box the last year, and they're talking about all these athletes, and then they brought up, oh, Emmett Smith, and I said, oh, is he a country artist? I knew he wasn't a fucking country artist. I just had a brain fart. That was really stupid on my part. It's good to be able to laugh at yourself. That's all I want to let you know. It's good to be able to laugh at yourself. I'm realizing too that you can be a big fish in a small pond. And for me, I'm talking about, for me, the music and the career. Jesse McCartney was playing at the Louisville Palace. The place was packed. I don't know how many seats. It's maybe 2,000. Jesse McCartney. I want you in your beautiful soul. That guy. He is on tour. Tons of artists, bands are on tour right now. And when you think about the artists on tour and bands, you think of like the Post Malone and the arena tours and the Morgan Wallen and breaking records of. And so you try to, well, you don't try to, but you find yourself comparing. And comparing is the thief of joy. Like absolutely will just steal every portion of joy that you have. And Jesse McCartney, I hadn't heard anything about him going on tour. And, you know, he had a nice run. Still obviously is my point. I mean, he's packing out theaters and doing his thing and probably really enjoying himself, making money, making people happy and connecting with fans, doing what he absolutely loves. And that is what my guiding light needs to be. I don't need to be thinking about, now I can manifest things, which that's another thought. I'll get to that. But I don't need to compare myself to Morgan Wallen or Post Malone, which one day I will be playing with Post, but I need to just enjoy the ride is what I need to do. And so maybe you two are comparing yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. And manifesting, I talk about manifesting because it's so freaking weird, because it seems to be just filled with manifesting videos on my For You page right now, which is great and all, but I'm like, good Lord, this is, it does. It almost is sounding like I have crystals in my pocket, and but it's real. There is so much science behind it. The CIA declassified, I don't have the document in front of me, but they declassified these studies about manifestation, where they learned and realized that it is a genuinely true thing, and our brains are just impeccable. There's science to prove that if you have a thought that is positive for 15 or 17 seconds, I think it's 17 seconds, that it absolutely attracts positive things, energy to you. Same for negative. If you are thinking negatively, then negative things, people, situations, outcomes will be drawn to you like a magnet. When you walk into a room of people, you can feel who is good and kind and genuine and loving and accepting. It's not a judgment thing. It is an absolute feeling thing. That shit's real. So take it a step further. If you think a positive thought, if I am going to open up for Post Malone, I am going to open up for Post Malone, I am going to open up for Post Malone, I will one day. And I know that I will. I haven't a clue how that's going to happen, but I believe it. So therefore it will. Everything that I say in my life or have said that I want to do, I've done it. I really have. I really have. Here I am continuing on, and people are telling me to not do this or not do that. You need to grow up. You're a joke. Get a job. This is my job. Keep believing, because it really does attract people and outcomes. It sounds so freaking woo-woo. I really know that, because when I say it out loud, I'm like, oh, these sell yellow crystals. Be positive. Say positive things out loud. Don't think a negative thought either. If you find yourself thinking a negative thought, stop it and immediately verbalize a positive thing about yourself or your situation. You should try it. And I'm telling that to myself right now, because when the sun goes down, do you all have this? When the sun goes down at night, you have a hard time being positive. I get into this weird space and I struggle to not be sad at night. I don't like to sleep, which is weird. And there has to be something there about sleep and fighting. I don't know. But do you all get that way? Or do you all get excited to get all snuggled up and watch a couple of, I don't know, Below Decks before you go to sleep? I don't know. But I really need to work on staying positive at nighttime. Maybe it's because my mind is kind of relaxed and I'm no longer distracted by all the work. And maybe I need to do more work on myself. I don't know. What are your thoughts there? It is, of course, time for a spooky story. This is brought to you by Jeremy. Jeremy, get off that wind turbine, buddy. Jeremy, by the way, is a friend and fellow mortal. If you want to join the mortals, then you can meet Jeremy. Just click the link in the description there. But Jeremy loves spooky. That's how we connected. This is about the Whitman family. This spooky story. It's October. It's Halloween month. Is anybody doing anything as far as what are they dressing up as? I am going to be a sexy dolphin. That's stupid. In the early 1990s, the Whitman family, David, Sarah, and their two children, Emily and Ben, they moved into a large 19th century farmhouse in rural Indiana. The home sat on a sprawling plot of land bordered by dense woods. It had been abandoned for years, but David and Sarah, eager to renovate a historic property, fell in love with its rustic charm and isolation. Despite the locals' murmurs about the house's dark history, the Whitmans brushed off the warnings as nothing more than small town superstition. Do you live in a small town and like everywhere there is a real life Mulberry type town that I have been to, and it is like, bleh. I say that because it's so weird. It's so bubbled up. Anyway, from the moment they moved in, the Whitmans started to experience strange things. On their first night, they heard the distinct sound of footsteps upstairs. David, the father, assuming it was just the old house settling, went to check but found nothing out of place. Sarah suggested it was likely a raccoon or some animal in the attic, so they didn't think much of it. The next day, Emily and Ben, those are the kids, they were playing in the backyard when they stumbled upon a peculiar stone marker, almost like a gravestone, near the edge of the woods. The inscription was too worn to read, but it sent a chill through Sarah when they told her about it. The inscription was apparently really spooky. Sarah had grown up in the city, far from rural legends, but the eerie isolation of the farm was starting to get to her. She told David, her husband, who shrugged it off, insisting only that they'd investigate later. As days turned into weeks, the atmosphere in the house began to feel heavy, oppressive. At night, Sarah started waking up to the sound of whispers, though David was always fast asleep beside her. No, thank you. The footsteps, too, became more frequent. Sometimes they would hear them pacing from room to room above them, always at the same time, around 3 a.m. Then Emily, only 6 years old, began talking about her new friend. A woman, she said, lived upstairs in the attic. Sarah assumed it was just an imaginary playmate, but when Emily described her friend as a sad lady with dark clothes and a pale face, Sarah grew uneasy. Think about all of us and all of those people who have had imaginary friends. Were they actually imaginary? Because they say that kids are very sensitive and receptive to seeing. Think about that. If you had an imaginary friend, maybe they weren't imaginary. Just saying. Especially because Sarah growing uneasy, because according to Emily, the woman only appeared at night when everyone else was asleep. One evening, while David was away on a business trip, Sarah put the kids to bed and settled in for a quiet night. Just after midnight, she heard a loud bang from upstairs, like a door slamming shut. She ran up to check the children's rooms, but found both of the kids fast asleep. Confused and rattled, Sarah turned to go back downstairs when she felt an icy draft blow through the hallway. All the windows were closed, yet she could see her breath in the air. That's when she noticed the door to the attic was slightly ajar. Oh, Lordy. Trembling, I would be too, Sarah grabbed a flashlight and pushed the door open. The air was thick and cold as she climbed the creaking stairs. Her heart raced, and as the beam of her flashlight scanned the dusty attic, it fell on something that made her freeze in place. Sitting in the far corner was an old wooden rocking chair, slowly moving back and forth. But the attic was empty, no windows, no vents, nothing to explain why the chair would be rocking. Suddenly, a voice, a soft, loud whisper, drifted through the attic. Leave. Terrified, Sarah ran downstairs, locking the attic door behind her. She stayed up the rest of the night, her back pressed against the door, afraid that something was trying to come through. When David returned the next day, Sarah was a wreck. She begged him to call someone, anyone, to come and look at the house. David was skeptical, but wanted to ease her fears and contacted a local historian who specialized in the area's old properties. What he uncovered sent chills through both David and Sarah. In the 1800s, the farmhouse had belonged to a family named the Mollers. The wife, Elizabeth Moller, had suffered a mental breakdown after the death of her 2 children from illness. Consumed with grief, she became increasingly unstable, claiming to see the spirits of her dead children in the house. One night, she hung herself in the attic. It wasn't until weeks later that her body was discovered, still in the rocking chair. David, usually pragmatic, couldn't deny the growing list of strange occurrences, but he still didn't want to uproot the family. He thought that maybe if they could ignore it, the disturbances would stop. But things only got worse. The last straw came one night when Ben, their youngest, began screaming in his bedroom. David and Sarah rushed in to find him standing in his bed, pointing to the corner of the room. "She's there! The lady from the attic! She's watching us!" But no one was there. Only the feeling of a deep, bone-chilling cold. The next morning, they packed up and left the farmhouse, never to return. They sold it at a loss, and the new owners, too, moved out after only a few months, reporting the same strange footsteps, voices, and cold drafts. The house still stands to this day, its windows dark and empty, a haunting reminder of the tragedies that unfolded within its walls. Locals say the spirit of Elizabeth Mueller never left. And if you drive by the house late at night, some swear that you can still see the faint outline of a woman sitting in a rocking chair by the attic window, waiting. That, as I sit in this podcast studio with lights everywhere, spooks the hell out of me. And if you wonder why I love paranormal, it's a downtime thing. I love podcasts. I love World War II documentaries. I love the idea of the unknown. We can all say whether we believe in paranormal or not. It's so intriguing because we as people, as I said earlier, we have to know why, how, what, and it's the thing that we don't necessarily have the answers for, so it's so intriguing to humans. But I don't want to meet Elizabeth Mueller. I don't want to go to that house, that farmhouse. Hell no. H2O. That's a spooky story. If you have a spooky story, you should send it to me. You can email it to me, booking@nathanmorrismusic.com. I would love to read it. It's super fun. I won't ever go ghost hunting. Matt Rife loves to do it, but I just will read these stories and find them. But if you have a really cool story, you can send it to me. And the thought of you having an imaginary friend as a kid and that imaginary friend not being so imaginary, that kind of got to me. That's spooky, everyone. That is spooky. That is your episode 207. We covered a lot. We talked about all kinds of things. 3 random facts, a spooky story, death of a friend, how it's real, and how you might have an imaginary friend that was when you were a kid that wasn't so imaginary. I'm going on tour. Tour dates are posted. Become immortal. Thanks for all the support. And thanks for just being you. Because the world is better off because you're in it. And I mean that. You could be doing anything, and for you to be spending time with me means so very much. You love far more than you could ever know. I'll talk to you very, very, very soon. Thank you. See ya.